You won't be surprised to learn that a lot of us were surprised that you made this decision. You go from a team that's one of the maybe top six or so in the NHL to a team that's been a bottom dweller for quite a while. That doesn't look like it's very enticing. What made you make the decision?
I think it's a little bit the opposite there. I look at their roster. Yeah, I know they had the fourth worst record this year, but they got a lot of pieces that are up and coming, and some guys are already on the team. So, at my point in my career, I wasn't going to go to a spot that I didn't feel like we had a good chance to win. And certainly it's going to take us some time, but we have a lot of good things to build off of. Certainly, we have some things on our current roster that we have to figure out with contracts and some players and all that, and we'll do that in time. But I like the challenge. I do see a path to having success here, and that's why I took the opportunity.
Was the city a point of interest to you? It's my hometown, so I'm a little bit biased, but a lot of people like Columbus.
Yeah, the one thing that Columbus always has going for them is the ownership has been very supportive of the hockey team, and their setup here is unbelievable. Their locker rooms, how they treat everybody, not just their players but their staff. I grew up. I'm a Detroit guy, so it's a couple hours south of Detroit. I'm a Midwest guy, so that part of it fit in well. But most importantly, that this is a team that I feel like we could get back on track and take to the next level.
That's where I first met you, Don. You were an assistant general manager. I remember sitting at a press meal at the Joe with you and Jimmy and Kenny Holland one day during the playoffs. Um, would you say the Detroit philosophy is the foundation of what the Waddell Foundation is?
Well, certainly, I was only there a year. We won a cup, but I learned a lot, and obviously, I've talked to Kenny and Jimmy throughout the years. Their whole plan, and it's a different system now, but we're still, when they draft kids, let them develop in the American League, and when they're ready, they'll turn them into make them NHL players. It's even more important now because that's you didn't have a cap back then. Where now with the cap world, you need to develop your own players. You have to draft well and develop because you can't just go buy players in the free agent market and trade. You get X amount of dollars to work with, and so you have to take care of your draft picks, develop them, and get them into the NHL. But it could take you 2 or 3 years. But if you do it right, you got that cycle continuing where you don't miss a beat year after year.
I'm curious, what did you learn from Tom Dundon?
A lot. Tom's a very passionate guy. The one thing that we went to we were a cap team, we weren't a budget team. He was willing to spend the money to try to make it right. Very intense, likes to get involved, which he's a very smart person. But most importantly, he's got a huge passion to win hockey games and at all costs. And that's the one thing you have to give him lots of compliments for, because when he came in, he took over a situation that wasn't going as well, and we got it going there for the last 6 years.
When you went there, it was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you went as basically the president of business ops. Did you ever think you'd get back into hockey operations and be a general manager again?
No, at that point, I love running the business, even in my last 3 or 4 years in Atlanta. So I enjoy the business. In fact, I will miss that part because I truly like trying to make it work from a business end. So yeah, no, when Pete hired me in 2014 to go in as president, I was very content, and didn't know how long I was going to do it for, but certainly wasn't looking to get back on the hockey side.
So why did you?
Well, when Tom bought the team, we interviewed several people, and after the first couple, he kept coming back to me saying, "I want you to do it." And I kept saying, "No, no." And then I can remember the night. It was a night of the lottery. We had the 11th pick, I think, in the lottery, and we moved up from 11 to 2 to get Sveshnikov. And I remember calling him that night. I said, "Tom, we it's a funny story because I said we won the lottery." And he said, "Oh, we did?" I said, "Yeah, we went from 11 to 2." He said, "Well, that's not winning. You should have went to 1." I said, "Well, we tried, but But he said to me, he said that night, he says, "Okay, we're done talking about this GM thing. You're the GM." I said, "All right." I gave in at that point.
Now, when you said that, two things come to mind. First of all, owners are never happy. Never happy. I mean, you went from 11 to 2, and he doesn't understand when there's ping pong balls involved, you didn't get to 1.
Yeah,
And the other one is, memory serves me, that was the famous turtleneck night, wasn't it?
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. The lucky turtleneck. Yeah.
You might have to bring it back.